Good day, Michael.
Good day, Dave, man. How you doing?
Man, am I doing good? This is the first time we're in our new podcast booth here at EBITDA Growth Systems in Golden, Colorado. We got a couple new mics. What do you think?
We have our on the air sign.
We do.
Illuminated in our conference room. So
Yeah.
this is pretty cool.
Yeah,
This is a momentous occasion for us.
I like it. And we got we're on video for the first time. A little bit of video, so you can. Would you say you want to look like Ray Charles or something like that?
Yeah, I was gonna do the Ray Charles thing, but that'd be
You want some
disrespectful.
glasses? I
No,
got-
no, thank you. No, thank you.
I mean, no, I don't want to be disrespectful,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, don't wanna be disrespectful.
He looks better than both of us anyway.
But one of the things that we recently came from a conference and we got feedback.
Yeah.
You guys support us, we love your content, we love you guys, but we're not quite sure what you guys do.
What do you do?
Yeah.
What is EBITDA Growth Systems?
Yeah, so we probably should spend a little bit of time talking about that, because we certainly want to share our knowledge with our community, and we're not online to convince you to buy something from us. But in the likely event that you need what we sell, we should probably tell you what it is that we sell.
That's right. That's right. I mean, it goes back to you and me and the day where it's like, what do we rebrand this company to?
Yeah, we started out as scaling the exit for baby boomer business owners that were looking to exit. 80% of them wanted to exit their company and use the money to fund their retirement, but less than 20% of those companies were actually gonna be saleable. So we wrote this book, Scaling the Exit, to address that issue. And then you and I came together and you said, what do we really do? And I said, we increase profits. And you're like, EBITDA. And I said, yes. So why don't we call ourselves EBITDA Growth Systems? And I
Man,
thought,
that was a great name, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And
So,
whoever came up with that, let me tell you.
well, tell these folks what EBITDA means, Dave.
EBITDA. EBITDA means EBITDA. It's earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization.
Yeah, it's an accounting term.
That's right. That's right. So you take your net profit, what's at the bottom, and you add back, your taxes, depreciation, amortization, your interest, right?
Yeah.
And then you add that, and it gives you EBITDA. Now, why is EBITDA important?
Well, because interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization really are decisions that the business owner made to finance the assets on the balance sheet.
That's right.
And so what you want to do is you want to normalize, if you're looking across three businesses, you want to normalize all three businesses for their strategy or methodology for purchasing assets. So you just eliminate that by using EBITDA. You add all of those costs back and you get a real feel between companies as to who's doing well and who's not doing well.
Yeah, and depending on what market you're in, or working in, they take your EBITDA and they multiply it times the number. So an HVAC company I owned, if a really good multiple is a 5 or 6 multiple
Of EBITDA.
of EBITDA. So you get, if you're doing really good, they take your EBITDA number and they multiply it times 5 and say, okay, your business is worth this. And now you know what your business is worth. So you aren't going to the grocery store saying, I'm gonna pick up milk for $250 because you know what it's worth, right?
Sure.
And I'm not selling milk for $250 because I know what it's worth. And like if you're a machine shop in aerospace and you're sizable, you can get 6, 7, 8 times. If you're in medical device and specialty robotics, you can get up to 15, 16 times, right? So, I mean, it just depends. EBITDA is such an important number because that mixed with market and volume gives you a
Your
multiplier
valuation.
and gives you your valuation, right? So,
Sure.
so that's why we named ourselves that. And if you're in accounting, it all makes sense to you. But if you're not in accounting, if you're into making parts, there you go. Now you know what EBITDA Growth Systems is all about. And you'll notice in our little banner behind Mike, it says the profitability experts, right? Because EBITDA is all about profit, and that's what we're all about too, right?
Yeah, EBITDA really for most companies is a shorthand for profit. And so when our brand promise is that we're gonna double your valuation in 3 years or give you your money back, we're saying we're ostensibly gonna double your profits, but valuation is more than just profits, because as Dave mentioned, if you have a very profitable company and our brand promises we're gonna double your valuation, we're probably gonna do it by taking you to an industry that has a higher multiple.
We could, most definitely.
Or there may be opportunities that further increase your profits.
Could be a lot of things. Could be efficiencies in your operation. It could be
Sure,
the
sure.
market you're in. It could be just volume, right?
Yeah,
Just, hey, let's
Just
find a
more
way
revenue.
sales and marketing effort, right? So that's what is our promise. You just said it. It's we guarantee to double the value of your company in 3 years. That's our guarantee.
yeah, yeah.
And I don't know, I hate swimming in a lane of consultants because we're experts in a very thin lane that we specialize in, right? So consultants is a very broad, very diffuse term and oftentimes a negative term. But in consulting, I don't know anybody else that has that kind of guarantee. So we stand head and shoulders above most because we guarantee what we do.
Yeah, yeah. And so, what is it? What is our offering then, David?
Well, it's the one that comes with our brand promise is coaching.
Mm-hmm.
We coach, and it's the heart of our organization. We do a lot of things, right? The heart of our organization is coaching. Now, why don't you paint a picture of what coaching looks like?
Well, when we set out to double the valuation of your company, we take 5 plans. We take a sales plan, a marketing plan, an operations plan, a financial plan, and a management plan. And we execute those 5 plans typically over the course of 18 to 24 months, but it could be 36 months. But it's through the execution of those plans that we actually double the valuation of your company.
That's right. That's right. So how's coaching play into that?
And so from a coaching standpoint, the first call of every month is a 2-hour call, and we talk about sales, marketing, and finance. And then towards the end of the month, there's another 2-hour call, and we talk about operations and we talk about management. And that is the rhythm. That's month in, month out. You're going to be talking to our coach, and you're going to be working on your business as opposed to in your business.
So, and before you get going on that, you call us, you engage us in an agreement, and we send one of us and a coach to your site, and we do an onboarding. So we want to walk your floor. We want to get to know you, want to get to know your people, want to get to know your operation. And that onboarding is when we take all that, we extract all that data out of you in that day, and we build those 5 plans, right?
That's right, that's right.
And then you said the management, you go through operations and management. Is that management succession? Is that management
It's all of the
like
above.
HR?
Sure,
So it's a little bit of
sure.
everything,
It's
right?
a little bit of everything. It depends on what the client needs.
Right.
Succession planning, if that is what becomes apparent in our management work with you.
Mm-hmm.
We do the management plan, and you have an owner who says, I want to exit the business, but I want to maximize my valuation. But the owner doesn't have a succession plan. In other words, when the owner leaves the building, the business goes away.
Yeah, there's no decisions are made once the owner leaves. I mean, you
Right.
keep pushing a button, but as soon as there's something wrong, it all stops.
Yes, and so in that scenario, the valuation is very low. The multiple will be
Right.
1 time, 1.5 times.
Yep.
And so succession planning becomes a really important issue for those clients.
Right.
And so we do set up a succession plan, and you end up with a succession agreement that will become part of your will and become part of your operating agreement
Mhm.
as an LLC. And then we're water dripping on your forehead on the execution of that succession plan, because small business owners understand that they need to do some succession planning, but for whatever reason, they're hesitant to do it.
Yep, and I like how you always go to torture tactics.
Yeah,
So-
it's very
so-
effective.
But we're going to meet our brand promise no matter what we have to do, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
So you have, we also offer fractional CFO, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you have a finance call. If I have a finance call and I'm a fractional CFO subscriber, what does that mean? What am I getting for a fractional CFO?
Well, again, a lot of small to medium-sized businesses, perhaps they have a bookkeeper,
Mm-hmm.
but if we took a major corporation, they're gonna have a number of C-level executives,
Mm-hmm.
and one of them will be a chief financial officer. Well, a small to medium-sized company also needs a chief financial officer. They just don't need one full-time.
Yeah, when the last business I worked at, the CFO was, $250,000, $300,000 a year resource.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, and if I have 8 guys, I don't get paid $250,000, $300,000. So there's no way I can afford that. So the fractional
Yeah.
CFO, buying one by the hour every month is super affordable.
Yeah, basically, 1/10, 1/20th, of a full-time CFO.
Mhm.
And, of course, our CFO resources are so capable that they're gonna be way more efficient than, perhaps even someone who's an employee of our client companies.
Right, and you're looking at the picture from the outside looking in too. You know, they have all the inside data coming up, but they're looking at it from our perspective, which is machine shops, manufacturing, and the trades, right? So you're looking at it, understanding trends, so it's really good information. So what's the difference, the coaching finance call, let's just ask this question, we have the coaching finance call, the stated, hey, I have coaching, I have finance in there. What's the difference between that report, because you get reporting in that too, and a fractional CFO reporting? How would you describe the difference?
Well, the biggest difference is if you're a coaching client, for your finance call, we're gonna expect for you to get us your financial data, and, we're gonna expect for you to, help produce the metrics that we're gonna be, coaching you on. For a fractional CFO client, we do a lot of that heavy lifting.
Mhm.
And so, we find that small and medium-sized companies don't do bank reconciliations, they don't do, credit card reconciliations, they don't do,
Ratios.
ratios, they don't do audits of their payroll. I mean, there's just a lot of best practices
Mhm.
from a CFO standpoint that small and medium-sized businesses don't do.
Yeah, one big thing is DSOs and DPOs.
Yeah, that,
I
which
mean-
is days sales outstanding,
Uh-huh.
days payable outstanding, so,
So a lot of people, you know, they'll have money in the bank, so they'll get a bill, you know, pay as soon as it hits, but they wait 45 days to get paid from the customer, so they don't time their cash.
yeah.
So they wind up setting yourself in a potential cash starvation mode, right? So it's dangerous. So a lot of those tools really help you look at your business. and
Yeah.
Drive it, right?
And that's what a chief financial officer will do
Right.
for you.
Right,
And
right.
so you're getting a portion of a resource who's going to implement some financial best practices and some financial discipline in your organization. And it usually manifests itself
Yeah.
in more cash.
Yep.
And so,
Absolutely. And then we also do some succession planning. So, and I love this. I mean, there's sometimes a great example is mother and father have a shop, and they've had a shop for 40 years, and there's a son or a daughter coming up in the shop, and the son or daughter wants to buy out the parents, and they're like, okay, how do we do this? How do we pass it along? How's everything tied up? Maybe the mom and dad aren't together anymore, maybe you have separate marriages, and you have to set all this up just right. So what'll happen is typically you and I do the succession planning, right?
yeah,
So we'll go to the client and we'll walk through, it's a very emotional road, and we'll walk through that road with the client, and what do we get out of that? So we get, it's usually between a day or 2 days, and we extract a whole bunch of data, and then what do we do with that data?
again, it's as we said before, from a succession planning standpoint, you end up with an agreement that's really, a plan.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something stronger than a plan, because the principals have to sign this thing.
That's right.
And it becomes part of the operating agreement, or it becomes part of a will. And so it ends up being a pretty official document.
So why would you go to us for that versus going to an attorney?
Well, ultimately, your attorney's gonna have to sign off on it. But
Right.
if your attorney does it for you, it's gonna cost you, I don't know,
2-3 hours.
yeah, a lot of money. When we do it, we have a repeatable process. We've talked to a lot of machine shops. We've
Mhm.
taken a lot of machine shops through succession planning.
Mm-hmm.
We have an idea of what the valuation is, because that's where everything starts from the succession planning standpoint. So we're just a lot more efficient, and we get them to a point where the client has an agreement and they can take it to their legal counsel.
Absolutely. And you have a little bit of background in legalese, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a member of the Pennsylvania Bar, but, he who has himself an attorney has a fool for a client. So I'm not gonna be your attorney, but I'm gonna do what your attorney would do.
That's right.
And then we take that work product and you give it to your attorney, and it's a lot cheaper for him
Yep.
to just read it and sign it, as opposed to having to do the work.
Yeah, but it's not like Joe Schmuckatelli Toolmaker handwriting the succession plan for you either.
Right,
So
right.
it gives it a little bit of teeth. And we have a huge, and you'll see behind you, we have a huge training offering that
Yeah,
we offer.
yeah.
That it kind of just happens. We'll be talking to Brian, at one of the shops we work with, and he'll be talking about Joe and Sally, and Joe and Sally show a whole bunch of promise, but they don't know a whole bunch about managing. So we have a delegation course, we have a conflict course, we have, time management courses where we can teach them as they become managers and invest in them. So we offer these one-offs to a lot of our clients. Not only that, but we have events here and there, that training events, and you can speak more about that.
Well, this is another area where small and medium-sized businesses just don't make the investment.
Right.
I'm sure our listeners have heard us say that 14% of people are gonna be pretty good at managing people. That means 86% of people are not. And so the chances are pretty high that your frontline managers, your leads, your supervisors, don't know what they're doing. And they're gonna be running your employees away, and they're gonna be less efficient, and so on and so forth. And there's just basic blocking and tackling skills that our curriculum represents. And we teach, these frontline managers the basic blocking and tackling skills that they need to be successful at managing others.
Yep, it's all about having tools for organizational development, right?
Absolutely.
So, and then last but not least, we have a matchmaking service. We're not brokers, we don't want to pretend to be brokers,
Mhm.
but we have a matchmaking service. So we have clients all across the country, small to medium-sized business owners that have companies that they follow the scaling to exit mentality, and they're following our coaching, and they've doubled their valuation, and hey, I want to play golf, I want to go out on a boat, I have a couple hobbies I really want to pursue in life, and I want to sell. And then a lot of, whether it's private equity, venture capitalists, private ownership, they know what we're doing with companies and how we're making companies strong companies. So they knock on our door and say, are any of your clients for sale, because we love what you're doing. That happens all the time.
Yeah, we kind of chanced upon this. I mean, we didn't set out to be a matchmaker, but tremendous value in that service. A broker's gonna want 5, 6, 7% for brokering a deal.
8%.
Yeah, and, we're gonna be a third of that, or a little less than a third of that. So, it's rewarding, because these are people we've walked alongside of for 2 or 3 years, and now they're ready, and then they entrust us to find someone who's gonna do the deal for them.
So what we do is we look at chemistry of the company, because we know our clients intimately. We know them very well, and we have phenomenal relationships that we're eternally grateful for, right?
Yeah.
And then we also have great relationships with people that want to grow what they're doing, and they want to scale it by acquisition. So knowing that chemistry on both sides, we can say, hey, Mike and Dave have great chemistry. They should talk and see if something happens. And either we help out with the diligence through that situation, make sure, because you'll come upon more questions than you've ever seen in your life about your company, things you may not even think about.
Sure.
But you might need help navigating through that. We help them navigate through those processes. We don't ink the deal, we don't write up the agreements, but we help you extract the information that the buyer may need to get there. And we also help you understand this may be about what you should ask for. Hey, that might be a little low, it might be a little high, but your basic evaluation of your business is this.
Yeah,
So,
and helping you present your company in the best light.
that's right, and understand that. So that's what we do, and we have this mission that gets me out of bed in the morning, and the mission is to impact lives through improving business performance. And I just love what we do. I mean, it's the best job I've ever had by far. But that's how we do it, right?
Yeah, that's us. Now, I want the listeners to understand that I do have a part-time job. Now that Adele is in Vegas, I'm one of her backup singers. Did you know that, Nate?
Really? I have recording of, we were in Indianapolis and we were in karaoke, and I have that.
I had not drank the honey and the lemon yet. My voice was struggling.
I turned around and thought Whitney Houston was in the room. Whitney, you there? Carrie, you know who I'm talking about. So that's EBITDA Growth Systems. That's who we are. That's what we do, and that's why we do it.
Right on, Dave.
Right on, Mike.